Hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we are going to talk about buying that new ride, that new CanAm Spyder, that shiny new motorcycle, whatever it is you choose to buy. It could even be a car as far as that goes. But we're really going to be focusing on motorcycle dealerships. You know, a lot of times they get a bad rep. You know, people want to call them stealerships. Service departments overcharging you, folks not knowing what they're doing. You know, they can get a bad rep. But is it true that they're all that way? No, they're not all that way. And we're going to talk about that and a lot more right after this. So let's talk about buying a motorcycle. But before we get started on that, I want to ask you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell and all that good stuff. Also, I'm going to put a link right there for Headish World, which is Barb and Bob. They have a channel and a CanAm Spyder RT Limited. They recently did a nice little tour of some covered bridges. I'm going to have that video linked right there. Make sure you check out their channel and support them. Help their channel grow. It's growing, but man, it'd be nice if it grew a little faster. So purchasing a motorcycle, I'm going to actually give you some hard numbers of what I paid for my Spyder. And I'm going to tell you what I did to get those hard numbers. And this works with a couple of types of things. And we're going to talk about the idea of what motorcycles to buy. And when I say motorcycle, I'm talking about CanAm Spyder as well. Not just talking about two-wheelers, I'm talking about two-wheelers and three-wheelers or a four-wheeler. But what you have to do, in my opinion, to get the best deals. So the first thing you have to do is pick a specific motorcycle. Now, when I say specific, I mean specific. Year is one of the most important things. Colors that you're willing to take. Those sorts of things. Make sure you're very specific. And when you do your research, go on forums, go to Facebook groups. Because when you get home, you don't want to have buyer's remorse. That is no fun at all. When you wake up that next day and you go, what have I done, man? I've been taken advantage of. So make sure you know exactly the motorcycle you want. That may sound awfully basic and fundamental, but let me tell you, if you go in there and they've got a 19 and they sell you a 20 and they railroad you because it's a newer model, it's because you didn't get what you went in there to get. Try not to be emotional about it. Pick exactly what you want. Now, I mentioned the fact of a 2019 or a 2020 or a 2021. If you can find something, obviously, that is a year old, that is what we call new old stock, you're just going to get a better deal. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the deals that I've gotten on new old stock machines. I bought 2 motorcycles. We'll talk about that later in the video, but let's go through our steps. Then we'll talk about some specific deals that I've made. Because my neighbor was asking me just last night, he goes, man, you must be playing hardball to get these deals, man. What are you doing? I'm not playing hardball, promise you. I like the guys I do business with. It's never a problem. So step 1, pick a very specific motorcycle. Year, color, everything very specific. Step 2, do an in-depth market analysis. Let me explain what I mean by that. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Cycle Trader, want ads in a paper, wherever you look, anywhere you can look. Find out what that model, what that make, what color, new, used, low mileage, high mileage, whatever. Find out the best price you can find it for. Take your time doing this. Take 2 weeks to do it. Scour the internet for hours. You will find, so there are some really good deals out there. It's very important that you go into this knowing what it is actually worth. Not what it's worth to you, what it's real world worth. Because those aren't always the same thing. Because your emotions can get the better part of you, and then you can end up really getting hammered on a bad deal. Step 3, decide how far you are willing to drive to go get it. If you're willing to drive 300 miles, 500 miles, you might be able to find a deal that you never even imagined you're going to get. That's different for everyone. When I looked at the bike that I recently bought, I went as far south as Sanford, that's 4.5, 5 hours. As far west as Mobile, Alabama, that's 4 hours. I went to Jacksonville, which is a little over 3.5 hours, but you run into the ocean. I can't go any further east than that. And I actually, in the video, I said I looked as far north as Macon. That was inaccurate. I actually looked as far north as the Atlanta metro area. So I was willing to drive to get a good deal. So step 4, find every dealer within that radius that has the vehicle that you want in their showroom. You can normally do that through Cycle Trader, or there's a dealer in Byron, Georgia, which is where I bought mine, and you don't see one. You can call them and go, hey, do you have a 2019 CanAm Spyder RT base in stock? And they'll either say yes or no. But find every single one that's out there. Find them. You've done all your research. You know where they all are. It's time to start figuring out what you're going to actually pay. Here's how you do it. You start calling those dealers within that radius that you've selected. You call the furthest one first, and you let them know, I'm giving you first shot. What can you do? Normally, these guys give you a pretty good deal, but it's a start. They don't think you're really that interested, and they probably don't think you're going to drive that far. When you get to the next dealer, ask him what he's willing to do. When he gives you a number, if it's higher than the preceding dealer, you don't have to tell him the number, but you can say, I've already beaten that price. Can you do better? And you'll see that number start coming down and coming down and coming down. As you get closer, by the time you're within probably 120-mile radius of your home, you know what you're going to have to pay for it. Because you'll start seeing once everybody gets to that bottom number, they're going to all be in the same place, within $100 of one another. Then you have to go with who you feel like you trust the most. So step 5 was start out far, bring it in close. And when you start getting to that price, don't be afraid to tell people what you need. Now, step 6, be upfront and be polite. And always be willing to walk away. If you get to a dealer and you've been upfront and polite and you think you're going to be able to buy the motorcycle from them, and you get there and you can't, walk away. If you're emotionally connected to the motorcycle, especially walk away. Anytime you're emotionally connected to something, you are more prone to make a bad decision. You just are, because the logical side of our brain is just thrown out the window. So make sure that before you make a purchase, you are getting a good deal. Step 7, buy the best deal. Buy the best deal. Don't be afraid to do step 8, because to me, this is actually the most important step of all. You've done all of your due diligence, and you don't have to do step 8. Step 8 is what I call the honor clause. Every dealer that you've called and you've asked them to give you their best deal, call them back. Thank them for their time and tell them that you've decided to purchase from someone else, but you appreciate their time and their professionalism, and hopefully you can do business in the future. That does a lot. That does a lot, because now when you're calling that dealer in a year or 2 years, whatever, when you go to buy another vehicle, they're going to go, oh, I remember you Because you know how many people call them and say thank you? They don't. In fact, they just, nope, I got a better deal. I'm not going to call. They're going to keep haranguing me with text messages and emails, and I'm just going to ignore them. Delete, delete, delete. Don't do that. Call them. Close the loop. So the question is, do those 8 basic steps, do they work? Well, you tell me. I'm going to give you some real numbers of what I paid for things. And I'm sure there's going to be some cowboy down there going, man, you got robbed, Coach Bob. My Spyder, the best deal that I found in the southeastern United States when I was looking for a 2019, because the year was December of 2019, and we were getting the 20s were coming out, and people knew the body style was changing, and they were ready to get rid of those 19s. And I found some demos. I specifically wanted a demo, something that they had used in their rider education program, because I knew it hadn't been dogged. It's going to have a few miles on it, less than 500 probably. Has the remainder of the factory warranty, which that's one thing that CanAm does. Once that vehicle goes into service, even in their rider education program, the warranty for the machine begins at that moment. So if that bike has been ridden for 6 months, you have a 1.5 year warranty. You won't have 2 years warranty, but you do have the remainder of the manufacturer's warranty. Realize that if you're buying a CanAm that's a demo. So the cheapest one that I had found, and I went as far south as Miami and as far north as Atlanta and as far west as Mobile and all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. The cheapest I found was in Lakeland, Florida for $18,995. So knowing this, I went to the local dealer and I told them the deal that I found and that I would rather buy from them being local, but I was willing to walk. Initially, they were reticent about the whole thing. Of course, the first thing most dealers are going to ask is how you're going to pay for it. If you've saved some money and have a sizable down payment and you can walk in with the remainder of it in a cashier's check from a bank, they don't have to do anything, they like that. Some dealers will ask you if you're willing to finance a little bit as opposed to paying cash so that they get a little kickback off of the loan. The salesman at the local dealer said, I'll beat their price. $18,600. I'll beat their price. So then we started talking dealer fees. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, dealer fees will kill you. It is not uncommon. I looked at a motorcycle here recently, I bought the SV650. When I bought it, I found one for $5,400, which would have been a heck of a deal. They had a $1,700 dealer fee. That's 30% of the value of the motorcycle, at least by what you're saying it's worth. Needless to say, we didn't do business. So we talked about dealer fees. We talked about the things that you can't get away from sales tax. You can't get away from your tag. You can't get away from dock fees. Those sorts of things you can't get away from. So I told them, I said, if you can have me out the door for $19,999.99, I will purchase a CanAm Spyder from you. If you are $20,000.00, I'm going to walk. But I want you to know I appreciate your time and I appreciate you trying to put a good deal in there for me, because honestly, I believe with the dealer down in Lakeland, with the conversation that I had, I can get it for less than 20 out the door up there. But I'm willing to buy from you if you can just do it. I won't call them. I won't try to undercut one another. If you can give me a better deal than that, then I'll buy from you. So here's where we were. $18,600 for the motorcycle, license and registration $160, sales tax $1,191, for a total price $19,951. That's what I paid for my CanAm Spyder RT. And my warranty will expire May 16th, 2021. I had a 1.5 years left on my warranty. That's what I got. That's the deal I got. The motorcycle that I just bought, MSRP on that motorcycle was $8,499. I was out the door, tag tax, title, registration fee, everything, for less than $7,600 because it was new, old stock. It was a 2019. The 21s are coming out. If you can find some new, old stock things, and that's a term I want you to be familiar with, is new, old stock. My Triumph, I will not disclose what I paid for that motorcycle simply because I promised the owner of the dealership that I would never divulge what I paid for it because it was such a ridiculously low price. And here's why. I bought that bike in December of 2018. That bike is a 2015 model, which meant that in January, 4 weeks from when I would have purchased it, that bike is 4 years old. And I told him that. I cannot take 4 years depreciation. You have to. When we looked at the bike and the differences that had occurred over 3 years, 4 years of development of that motorcycle, the motorcycle didn't have the features that the newer ones had. And most guys are going to want the ones with all of the new features. And none of those features didn't mean anything to me. So I told him, this is what I can purchase one. I found one up in Augusta, Georgia. It's got 1,000 miles on it. This is what the guy is willing to sell it to me for. He bought the bike brand new. He put a nice exhaust on it. He's got the Triumph mirrors. He's put a lot of work into it, making the bike like I would want it, things that I'm going to have to do to it anyway. You're going to have to match this guy's price out the door. It happened. I ended up getting the bike for a heck of a deal. So I've got 3 motorcycles and I got a great deal on all of them. And so can you. Guarantee you, if you follow these 8 simple steps, not only will it be a stress-free purchase, you'll actually have fun and you'll make some new friends along the way. Because every dealer that I didn't buy from, I called them and said, hey man, thank you for your time. I appreciate your help, your professionalism. Hopefully in the future, we can do business. And they know next time, because I've closed that loop, they know that I mean business and that next time I'll do it. And I'm never, ever rude. It's okay to shake their hand and say, thank you for your time, man. God bless you, and go buy somewhere else. Remember, it's a business transaction, not a date, but you don't have to be rude. There are some salesmen where that's a little more difficult than others when they act like they're doing you a favor and all that. That's when you just have to say, hey man, thank you for your time, brother. I appreciate it, but I think I'm gonna have to go elsewhere. When they say you're not gonna find a better deal, I'll be like, well, if I don't, I'll be back to see you. Great to meet you, man. And that's it. And remember, if you're emotionally attached to something that is a machine, step back. It's always good to say, I'll think about it. If they tell you, well, this deal is only good for today, they'll sell it to you for that price tomorrow. They will. I promise you they will. Just walk away. Say, well, if that's the deal. I had a dealership ask me one day, we were $100 apart because I had set my limit. And he goes, you're going to let $100 keep you from getting this motorcycle. And I laughed and I shook his hand and patted him on the back and I said, nope, you're going to let 100 keep you from selling one. Remember, you're the consumer. Enjoy the experience. So hopefully this has been a help to you. Follow those simple 8 steps. I promise you it's going to be okay. You're going to have a great time. You're going to end up doing this right here. Buying the motorcycle of your dreams. And remember, eat right, take care of yourself, and remember, if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong. Now you go seize the day and go out and get the deal of a lifetime. We'll see you soon.